have. She's saying no Second Amendment, no free speech. The state can restrict whatever speech it wants if it's in the best interest of the state. Sounds like Stalin. We are the state. We're the people. First Amendment. Open talk of taking over talk radio, the internet, the FTC in the news, saying we want to fund mainline newspapers and TV with taxes on the internet and iPhones. Gerald Celente, I mean, this is an amazing development. They finally realize they've lost all credibility, so now they're everywhere sending up trial balloons telling us how American it is to ban our free speech. I mean, this is tyranny.
As they keep losing more and more control, they will exert more and more control. That's what's going on. They know they're losing it. As I said, and I will say it again, the merger of state and corporate powers, just as you pointed out, by giving our taxpayer money to whether it's the media or the banks or the too big to fails, is called fascism. And fascism has come to America. They will do anything they can to stop their loss of power, and they're losing it by the seconds.
Well, it's a criminal buy-off. I mean, remember in Congress in hearings just last year, it came out that the Democratic Party went and looked at records, and if your Chevy dealership, one of them was set up in like 1916 in Minnesota, in one case was on the news, if you hadn't given money to the Democrats and you were a Republican to show the infighting, the government took your dealership, literally in one case worth tens of millions of dollars, and gave it to a Democrat contributor. I mean, this is Chicago mob, and now it's coming out that the White House Chief of Staff, who we notice is laying low, Rahm Emanuel, that this guy for years as a congressman had a donor paying for his house in D.C. I mean, 10 years ago you went to prison for that. Now they just say, hey, we're gangsters.
Yeah, the only people that go to prison and do hard time are we the people. The word justice is misspelled. It's J-U-S-T-U-S. Just us, not them. The game is rigged. Again, it's Harvard, Princeton, Yale. You mentioned Kagan. What am I, a moron? That the whole Supreme Court is stacked with Harvard and Yale? The head of the Fed is from Princeton. They're all better than we are. Just us, not them. We're the only ones that pay the fines, that get hit by the tax collectors. You go through, you have 2 drinks, 2 glasses of wine, and they breathalyze you. And if you're a half of a meter over it, they'll handcuff you and throw you in jail.
Well, here's an article right here. You know, I mentioned this, and we're going back to calls, but at the start of the show, Amish farming draws rare government scrutiny. And it says you would think with their simplistic living they'd be good, but no, the cows defecating is seen as pollution now. And it goes on to admit that the feds don't even go inspect big, giant, dirty Tyson's facilities, but now they're harassing the little Amish. I see reports every week where they're arresting people selling eggs and watermelons on the side of the road with SWAT teams. They're sending SWAT teams to little farmers' houses who get caught selling watermelons. I mean, this is the most criminal I saw an article last year where a city council in Oklahoma is trying to pass a law that you have to have a license to have a garden. I mean, these people are crooks.
What's happening, Alex, is the agricultural industry is understanding that a lot of people are buying family farm food and buying local. It's eroding their profit margins. By the way, as we saw with this oil spill disaster, and we continue to see, they call it a revolving door. People from business going into government and government going into business. It's not a revolving door. It's a wide open door, and it's run by the big corporations. It's not revolving. So anytime they see a loss going on, they're going to clamp down. They have the goon squads to do it. They're going to clamp down on the little people. That's why the Second American Revolution is underway.
It's incredible. Let's go ahead and take another call here. Pete in Alberta, Canada. You're on the air.
Hi, thanks, gentlemen. Some of the other cosmic forecasters like Arch Crawford and Cliff High seem to feel strongly that the collapse is going to start in July. And I'm just wondering two things, if you might make your best guess on what the trigger event might be, and then whether the Eurasian Alliance is actually standing up against the Anglo-American Empire, or if they're just waiting to join together.
Yeah, is there a real split between Russia, China, and the Western powers? And what do you see as a trigger for the total collapse?
As far as the alliance goes, it's all about money. Whoever cuts the best deal are going to do business with each other. They'll fight whoever they want. It's all about money. So that's the name of that game. China's only interested in getting money. And so are the Russians and so are the Americans. They use democracy and human rights. Those are phony issues. What can be the trigger? We believe it's going to be a currency trigger. That's our best guess. Whether it's the collapse of the euro, gold prices skyrocketing could be one of the triggers.
Yeah, that's in the New York Times today. They're admitting that gold going up is exposing derivatives and fake instruments of the central banks. I mean, it's like holy water to Count Dracula. Exactly.
So that's what we see it as, mostly a financial crisis in terms of currencies and defaults on bonds. And by the way, why are these people so angry in Europe about paying the bondholders? Who are the bondholders if a country goes default? They're the big banks. That's the ones.
That's right. The taxpayer money goes into the country 100%. I mean, literally in many cases, 100% goes back out to the banks. And then the banks take the country's AAA rating away because they had to bail the banks out, and the banks loan the money back to the country.
Again, it's the same club in control. It's all about money. That's why I said whatever the alliances are going to be, it's only about money, whatever the best deal is.
Well, from what I've studied, it's China, the U.S., and Europe are teamed up, and Russia knows it's the odd man out. And I'm not saying Russia isn't corrupt. All these governments are, but Russia is the wild card for my breakdown. Gerald, what's your take on that?
That's pretty fair. But again, the Chinese are going to go, they'll go anywhere. And if they're not doing enough trade, they'll go where they get the most trade. Look how they're moving into Africa now and buying up so much.
Absolutely. They're taking over everywhere. Let's go ahead and talk to Mark in Oregon. You're on the air with Gerald Celente.
Good afternoon, Alex and Gerald. Great to speak with you. I have a very quick comment and question for both of you.
Go.
And that is, I think I figured out why Osama bin Laden and his lieutenants are hiding over in Iraq. I think they're tired of being killed, don't you think? They've died 2 or 3 times already. And I'd want to hide, too. I think it'd get tiresome after the first time. But A.C. Griffith, Alex and Gerald, who is a former NSA CIA worker, he's reported over the last week that FEMA is amassing the infrastructure to displace or evacuate some 40 million people from the Gulf area as well as the East Coast as this oil disaster makes its way up the East Coast. And he also reported, according to his information on a scientific level, that it will drift over the Atlantic Ocean, this oil contamination, of course, which is really a dispersant contamination, isolating the benzene, which is very dangerous for health.
Sure.
All the way to Europe and then eventually around the world.
Well, no, that's what the currents show from satellite. Let me get Gerald Celente's take on this.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree, and it could be a huge disaster, and there may be a huge displacement of people. I mean, this kind of fits into those prophecy things that have been made about 2012. When you
look at the volcano. The last time they had a big volcano was the French Revolution. The last time an Icelandic volcano did this.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. You were making your point.
No, that is the point. The point is that we're going to see one catastrophe after another, whether it's man-made, natural disaster, financial, environmental. It's all collapsing on itself.
And we've noticed historically, for some reason, natural disasters seem to follow times of implosion as well. It's like
it takes on its own momentum. There are so many other forces that we don't know about that are interacting to cause a confluence that we're looking at now. That's why we're saying that 2010 is the breaking year.
Well, my grandfather told my dad, he wouldn't tell many war stories, about landing in Italy while Vesuvius was exploding, while they were being shot at, because he was in the Army Air Corps, but they were leaving North Africa and actually landing him in the landings with the Germans shooting at him with Vesuvius exploding. And it's just weird how all that stuff seems to run together. It's strange, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Amazing. Gerald Celente is our guest. Let's jam in one more before we go to break. Mark in California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my question. My question revolves around the United Nations Law of the Sea Treaty, and I'm wondering how the Gulf spill will impact the ongoing debate in Congress. And I'll take my answer off there. Thanks, guys.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the...
Yeah, say that again.
I'm wondering how the law of the sea treaty debate...
Yes, law of the sea treaty moving through to turn the oceans over to the UN, which they'll then turn into a giant taxing grid. Gerald Celente is our guest. We'll be right back with him.